Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be discussing two major topics of the third module, with which we will end the third module. The first topic is speeches, that is public speaking, and the second topic is report writing. So both of these things you will find important because they are part of the major questions that come as part of the question paper. I'll just show you that question paper. This is the question paper. So if you look at the seventh question of part B, so this is the question on speech. So in your first year, that is in the first and second semesters, we had learned speeches, how to write speeches, especially welcome speech and vote of thanks. These are the same topics which we will find in this text also. So we will not be repeating those things, but we will be going through some important aspects which we have to take care of when we prepare a speech. So in the first year, it was a 5 marks question. But here in the fourth semester paper, we have it as a 10-mark question. The next topic that we have, that is the last chapter of the third module, is report writing. Report writing also forms part of the question paper. That is a 5 marks question which you will find in part B itself as question number 4. So here the report that we deal with is about some event that happens in your institution. That will be the kind of report that you will be asked to write for the exam. So it will be a 5-mark question. That is, you have to write as a paragraph on one particular event or a program or a function that happened in your institution. The topic for the report will be given in the question paper. So depending on the topic that you get, you have to prepare a report and write it. So how to do all these things, how to prepare a speech, how to write a good report, all these things we will discuss today. So first we move on to speech, how to prepare a speech, etc. So these are the things that we discussed in the first year, that is how to prepare a welcome speech and vote of thanks. So this is what we discussed in the first year. Welcome speech is the beginning of a program and vote of thanks ends a program. Structures that are used for these things are totally different. So if you remember the first year sessions, there are certain structures which are called welcoming structures. And there are certain structures which are called thanking structures. So the welcoming structures are used in the welcome speech and the thanking structures are used in the thanking speech. Vote of thanks. So how do you prepare for a speech? There should be a lot of planning that is involved in speech. So it requires a lot of planning. So we should know the topic. The topic is there in the question paper. So the speech should be prepared based on the topic that you have in the question paper. And the audience will also be mentioned in the question paper. So if you look at this question, here, okay, the role is here. Your role is mentioned here as the college union chairman. Question paper. So this is the role. Occasion is given here. The occasion of the is given here. Situation, another situation, and the place, audience. So if it is a college, the audience will be usually the large number of the audience will be the students. ഇത്രയും കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമുക്ക് അറിഞ്ഞിരിക്കണം if you have to if you have to prepare a good speech. So that is why this planning is very important. That is, you should have a clear idea about the people who form the audience, their level of understanding and their interests. So when you prepare a speech, it should not be an exercise in futility. It simply means that it should not be futile means useless. It should not be futile. What do you mean by futile? Futile means useless. So if I make a speech, nobody listens, nobody understands anything, then my speech is futile, useless. So people should be able to understand something, get some benefit out of what we speak. So how do you do that? You can do that by many methods. One method is to idea development. If you have a good ideas, if you give some explanations, demonstrations, കുറേ കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറയാതെ കുറച്ച് ഉദാഹരണങ്ങൾ കൊണ്ടുകൂടി പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ if you can give some illustrations, you can give some clarifications, some examples, ചെറിയ കഥകളൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ people will be interested in your speech. So that is how we can make a speech interesting. Okay. The next is you can properly organize your speech. സ്പീച്ചിനെ ശരിയായ രീതിയിൽ ഓർഗനൈസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതും വളരെ ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആണ്. If you have to organize the speech, it can be organized in 3 manners. Okay, 3 parts ആയിട്ട് 3 ഭാഗങ്ങളായിട്ട് നമുക്കതിനെ ഡിവൈഡ് ചെയ്യാം. ഏതൊക്കെയാണ്? ഇൻട്രഡക്ഷനും, body and conclusion. So what does an introduction contain? Introduction contains these things. So you have to, suppose we are talking of the beginning part of the speech, you can mention some important things of the program. A program ne kurichu endengilum parayam. The audience should be motivated to listen. So in the beginning part of the speech, there should not be too much matter to discuss. It should be just some interesting aspects. So some areas of common interest. People will be interested in something very common. So beginning of a speech is very important because then only you will have a favorable impression on the audience. First impression is the best impression ennu parayum. So the beginning of any speech is very important. വളരെ നന്നായി തുടങ്ങിയാൽ പകുതി ജോലി കഴിഞ്ഞു എന്നാണ്. Well begun is half done. It's a saying in English. It's a proverb, actually. So the introduction is very important. The introduction should be done in such a manner that people are interested to listen further to you. ആദ്യമേ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ ഭയങ്കര ബോറിംഗ് ആയിട്ടാണ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെങ്കിൽ people will not continue to listen to you. So after the introduction, we have the main part of the talk. In the main part also, you should not focus only on the specific themes. See, the speaker here says that, the writer says that our speech should be punctuated with humor, anecdotes, and illustrations. So it may sound very easy, but it is very difficult to sound humorous. ഇടയ്ക്ക് ഒരു കഥ പറയുക, ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ പറയുന്നതൊക്കെ that can add to the interest in speech. And the language that we use should be easily understandable to everyone. Okay, so then he talks about the sound also, speech. sounds, that is the tone, our volume, etc. നമ്മുടെ വോയിസ്, വേർഡ് ചോയ്സസ്, അതൊക്കെ. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് മെൻഷൻഡ് ആസ് ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് പോയിന്റ് ഹിയർ. വോയിസ്, പിച്ച്, വോള്യൂം, റേറ്റ്, സ്ട്രെസ്, ഇൻഫ്ലക്ഷൻ എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുന്നതൊക്കെ സൗണ്ടുമായി ബന്ധപ്പെട്ടതാണ്. നമ്മൾ ഒരുപാട് സ്പീഡിൽ പറഞ്ഞാൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ ആളുകൾക്ക് ഫോളോ ചെയ്യാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുണ്ടാവും. വളരെ സ്ലോ ആയാലും ശ്രദ്ധിക്കാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടായിരിക്കും. ശബ്ദത്തിന് വോളിയം ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ, if they are unable to hear what we are saying, then also they will not be interested, because when you are speaking in public, you are not speaking to one person, you are speaking to a lot of people, and getting and retaining the attention of everyone is very difficult. എല്ലാവരുടെയും അറ്റൻഷൻ കിട്ടൽ വളരെ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടാണ്. അപ്പോൾ അറ്റൻഷൻ കിട്ടാനായിട്ട് വോയിസിൽ ചില മോഡുലേഷൻസ് വരുത്താനാണ് ഇതിൽ പറയുന്നത്. സോ റൈസ് ആൻഡ് ഫോൾ ഇൻ ദ മോഡുലേഷൻ. ഒരേ ടോണിൽ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ പറയാതെ ഇടയ്ക്കൊന്ന് ടോണ് ഒന്ന് ഇൻക്രീസ് ചെയ്യുക, ഇടയ്ക്കൊന്ന് ടോൺ കുറയ്ക്കുക, വോള്യൂം ഇൻക്രീസ് ചെയ്യുക, വോള്യൂം ഡിക്രീസ് ചെയ്യുക. Okay, so that is what is meant by the tone. Okay, then we have the conclusion also. So the conclusion should be very effective. Effective ending means it should not suddenly end. An abrupt end means a sudden end mars its charm. Abrupt means sudden. Mar means to destroy. So a sudden ending of any speech can destroy the beauty of the speech, and people will not be interested in listening to it anymore. So the introduction and the body and the conclusion, all these three are important. Also are important is some other things which are not mentioned here. For example, the body language, because when you are speaking to the public, you are standing in front of them. And this aspect is very important. That is body language. Body language means the way you present yourself before the audience is called body language. Adine para language ennum parayum. Something which is beyond language. Okay, para language means beyond. That is the way we stand, the way we observe the audience, the way we show gestures, aanyangal kanikkunnathu, the expressions on our faces. All these things are included in body language. Body language has got a lot of role in speaking. They say that the only 13% has words. Okay, 87% is non-verbal. So the importance of words is just 13%. 87% of all communication is done in a non-verbal manner. Okay, of the, if you divide the 100% communication, words have just 13% importance. 87% non-verbal communication. So body language has got a lot of importance in public speaking. Okay, then important things are certain conventions when you talk and when you are speaking. Those conventions should be followed. That is, you should have a good understanding of the audience. Okay, who am I talking to? If you are talking to a group of students, you talk in a particular manner. But when you are talking to a group of teachers, the way you talk will be different. So So how is that difference happening? The difference is happening because of the level of understanding of the audience. The level of understanding of the audience is very high. According to that, you will have to modulate your understanding also. You should study more, prepare more, so that you can present before an audience which is much more enlightened than an ordinary set of students. So understanding the audience is very important. And all these things have to be knit together. So as I said, our body language, our word choice, our idea development. Idea development means introduction, body and conclusion ഒക്കെ ഒരുമിച്ച് കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നതാണ്. So it is not very easy, but it can be done if we do some practice. So you can do some practice of the speeches that we write. So first you write a speech and then you deliver the speech. After that you write points and then you try to deliver the speech. And only after a lot of time that you will be delivering speeches offhand without any preparation at all. So you can prepare with certain structures. കുറേ structures ഒക്കെ ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ കൊടുത്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. You will find it in the text. I think it is in page number 77. You will find certain structures which can be used with in vote of thanks or welcome speech, etc. That is, which are the structures which we can use in introduction. There are certain structures which can be used in the main body of the letter, and there are certain structures which can be used in the end. So how do we use these structures? These structures depend upon the purpose. Okay, so what is your purpose? എന്താണ് നമ്മുടെ പർപ്പസ് എന്ന് നമുക്കറിയണം. ആ പർപ്പസ് അനുസരിച്ചിട്ടാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഈ സ്ട്രക്ചേഴ്സ് നമ്മൾ മാറ്റി മാറ്റി യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. So whether my purpose is to welcome the gathering, or നമ്മൾ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പറിൽ കണ്ടതുപോലെ ഇനോഗറൽ സ്പീച്ച് ആണോ, or am I going to inaugurate something, or I am going to thank the people, or am I going to deliver a keynote address, that is to educate, to explain, അവരെ മോട്ടിവേറ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സ്പീച്ചാണ്. വാട്ട് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് എ സ്പീച്ച് ആർ യു ഗോയിങ് ടു പ്രസൻറ്റ്? അക്കോർഡിംഗ് ടു ദാറ്റ് അവർ speeches will change. So the purpose should be very clearly understood. You have to be very clear with the purpose, and only then we will be able to prepare good speeches. So speaking, public speaking is not easy, but writing a speech can be easy if you prepare using the structures which we have just seen in the text. Just go through those structures, you will be able to prepare a speech. There are some sample speeches which are also there in the chapter. I'm not going to go through those sample chapters which are given there. When you get time, you can go through those sample speeches. Both welcome and vote of thanks are there. So by looking at them, you can also prepare a speech. Speeches have the common structures of beginning with greetings. Okay, greetings, which so this is something which we have already discussed. Greetings, then salutations, then we have the introduction. Okay, then structures depending upon welcome. Welcome ആണെങ്കിൽ welcome-ന്റെ structures. Okay, well, if it is a welcome speech, it will be the structures of welcome. If it is a vote of thanks, then structures of thanking. Then if it is inauguration, then it will be kind of, I am going to inaugurate this program, etc. Then if you are giving a felicitation, then you are wishing the organizers the best. There are a lot of different kinds of speeches. According to that, these structures will change. Okay, these are the structures. Different kinds of structures will happen for these different kinds of speeches. ഇതിൽ ഏത് സ്പീച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്നനുസരിച്ചിരിക്കും the structures that we use. whether you are going to give a welcome speech, a vote of thanks, or an inaugural address, or a felicitation, or a keynote speech. Depending upon that, different kinds of structures will be used. After these structures, that will be the main part of the speech. You have the uh, conclusion. Okay, so that is the next part. You will have the conclusion. That will be the final part of the speech. Okay, so this is how we can prepare a good speech. Is it clear, everyone? Any doubts? Okay. Okay, thank you for those responses. Very good, thank you. So now we'll move on to the next topic, that is report writing. Let me just take up that. Okay. So writing reports on. So here in this chapter you may find that it is very difficult. There are so many different kinds of reports which are given here. Research reports, analytical reports, investigative reports, feasibility study reports, progress reports, അങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് തരത്തിലുള്ള റിപ്പോർട്ട്സ് ഇതിൽ മെൻഷൻ ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. The only thing we have to be aware of is called event reports. അപ്പോൾ അത് മാത്രമാണ്, it is very easy. What we are going to do is to just do event reporting. For some event, it may have happened during one day or 2 or 3 days or during an entire academic year. For example, it may be the activities of a student union. Students union activity ആണെങ്കിൽ it may cover entire year. For example, you can say that in January you had this program, these sets of programs. In February you had these sets of programs up to December, 1 year programs. So it can be 1 year, it can, or it can be a single day program. So what happened during the college day celebrations which were held on a particular day. So that will be a narration of events that happen from morning to evening. So the best example of reporting can be done by looking at newspapers, because newspapers have all these different kinds of reports you can find in newspapers. So it can be of events that happened on a single day or over a period of many days or during an entire year. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ കാണിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള ആ റിപ്പോർട്ട്സ് എല്ലാം നമുക്ക് വരുന്നില്ല. We just need to prepare for event reports. Okay, so the That will be the kind of question that you get for the exam also. One second, we had that question paper here. So let's look at that question. That is the fourth question in part B. It says that compose means write a report on the career development activities held at your institution during the last 1 year. So it is an yearly report. It's still an event report. Some things which happened during 1 year. So you can mention that these are things that happened during February and March. During April and May, this will happen. Uh, Suppose during some months nothing happened, you don't have to mention anything. But whatever happened during that 1 year, you have to write as in the form of a narrative, in the form of a paragraph. So it is a 5 marks question. In the example that you see in this, you can see in the text, it is mostly reports of some projects. Project reports ആണ് നമുക്ക് അതിലുള്ളത്. That is not the kind of reports that we need. We need the kind of reports that we have for events. Event reporting ആണ് നമുക്ക് ആവശ്യം. I'll give you an example of such an event report. You will find it in the Google Classroom. I will post it there. So that example which is given in the text may not be suitable for us. So but this is suitable. This helps us to prepare a report. That is, you can have an introduction. Okay, so introduction and the main body and the conclusion will be common for all kinds of reports. So provide some useful background information. For example, what is a career development cell? So career development cell activities ആണ് ആ question paper ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. So you can give a brief information of what career development cell is. So that can be the introduction. You can give details of career development cell in the introduction. So that is called background information. Then you can give the date from which this event has happened. For example, if you are talking about 1 year's activities, it could be from January to December, or it could be an academic year from June to March. So usually in educational institutions, it will be academic years which are calculated. That is from June of a particular year to the March of the next year. So that things can be mentioned in the introduction. In the main body, you can mention all the different events that happened during this 1 year. What are the different events that you organize? You can even list them by numbering them or bulleting them. You can even number the events and list them in your report. And then you can give details of the conclusion. What is the benefit? For example, if you conduct such programs, what are the benefits that the student gets? So you can mention that students were able to get placements in various organizations. So those are the things that you can mention in the conclusions. These recommendations and references are all related to scientific reports which are not our area. So this is not required for us. Conclusion കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മുടെ പ്രോഗ്രാം കഴിഞ്ഞു. അതോടുകൂടി ആ റിപ്പോർട്ട് അവിടെ അവസാനിക്കും. So these things are all related to technical reports. Technical reportsലാണ് ഈ appendices വരുന്നത്. That is bibliography, അതായത് ഏത് ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ നിന്ന് എടുത്തിട്ടുള്ളതാണെന്നൊക്കെ ഉള്ളത് കാണിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. This is not related to the kind of report that we are dealing with. But the next part is very important. Tips for writing reports. So this is something which is related to what is known as plain English. This part is very important. You have to go through this. I think this is page number 87. You can note it down. Page 87 വളരെ important ആണ്. You can go through that. You have to use what is known as plain English. What is plain English എന്നുള്ളത് is I'll show it to you. One second. Are you able to see this? So plain English is something that is recommended. That is to use simple language. When you are speaking, you use a simple language. ഒരുപാട് കളർഫുൾ ആയതുകൊണ്ട് may not be visible. എന്നാലും കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ? Can you see to some extent? Are you able to see what is written? It simply means that the language that we, yes, okay, thank you for those responses. Okay, so it simply means that the language that we use should be simple and easy for people to understand. That is, the sentences should not be very long. As far as possible, cut down unnecessary words. Okay, അതൊക്കെയാണ് ഇതിൽ പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളത്. ഞാൻ കാണാൻ പറ്റാത്തവർക്ക് I am just going to tell you what it is. You just have to keep short sentences. Okay, short sentences. Remove unnecessary words. And simple words which everybody will understand. Okay, so there are 3 characteristics which are very important to all language whenever we speak. Simplicity, clarity, and brevity. Okay, simplicity, clarity, and brevity, they are very important. So what is clarity? Clarity is the state of being clear, and brevity is the state of being brief, short. That is, everybody should be able to easily understand what we are saying. So that is called plain language. So we have to use plain language. It is simple language. So that is what is mentioned here in this section of the text also. Please go through this very carefully. You have to use short words instead of long words. For example, ഇതിൽ തന്നെ at the commencement a lot of assistance was sought from the agency. At the commencement എന്നൊന്നും പറയേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. At the beginning എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. Commencement എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ beginning തന്നെയാണ്. So why use difficult words when you can use simple words? Avoid camouflaging. Use plain English. Plain English എന്നാണ്, plain English അല്ല, plain English. For example, verification of targets and achievements will be made fortnightly is a very complex sentence. You can make it simple. Targets and achievements will be verified fortnightly. Eliminate unnecessary words and phrases. Eliminate means remove unnecessary words and phrases. For example, consensus of opinion. Consensus എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തന്നെ it means unity of opinion. പിന്നെ അവിടെ unity of വീണ്ടും opinion ആവശ്യമില്ല. The meaning of consensus is unity of opinion. അപ്പം ഞാൻ consensus of opinion എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ unity of opinion എന്ന് 2 തവണ പറയുന്ന പോലെയാണ്. So that is not required. Consensus എന്ന് മാത്രം പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. Consensus of opinion ആവശ്യമില്ല. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ ഒരുപാട് യൂസേജസ് ഉണ്ട്. At this point of time ഒക്കെ ചിലർ പറയും. You just can say now എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. At this point of time എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിന് പകരം now എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തന്നെ that makes it very clear. This is something very commonly used by everybody. It is a very wrong expression. It is not plain English. Wrong എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞില്ലെങ്കിലും plain English അല്ല. ഒന്നുകിൽ ഈച്ച് എന്ന് പറയാം അല്ലെങ്കിൽ എവരി എന്ന് പറയാം. ഈച്ച് ആൻഡ് എവരി എന്ന് പറയുന്നൊരു എംഫസിസിൻ്റെ ആവശ്യം ഇല്ല. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് നോട്ട് റിക്വയർഡ്. So instead of saying each and every, you can either say each of the students should submit or every student should submit. Each and every student should submit എന്ന് പറയേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. So these are all unnecessary words. These are all against plain language. So plain English or plain language is something which is very useful. So some more examples are given there. Due to the fact that എന്ന് നമ്മൾ പറയേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. Because എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. Instead of saying due to the fact that, you can just say because. At an early date. ഒറ്റ വാക്കിൽ പറയാം soon എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മതി. At the present time. Now. See how many words we are saving by using just one word. Until such time as. Until such time as nalla as nana. Until such time as. So that is equal to when. So until such time as you submit. When you submit. So until such time as is a very long usage that is not required. We are of the opinion. Instead of saying that, you can just say we believe. Similarly, for the month of December, everybody knows that December is a month. So there is no need to say that month. So you can just say for December. The month of is unnecessary. So we can eliminate unnecessary words and phrases not only when you prepare a report, but also when you speak. You can remove unnecessary and use in English. English is a campaign is actually which is going on world over to make language learning and understanding easier. So that is the purpose of using plain language. So this so here it is explained what is plain language. So that you can say that a document is in plain language if the users can find what they need, understand what they find. നമ്മൾ വായിക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ, നമ്മൾ എഴുതുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങൾ ബാക്കി ഒരു മനുഷ്യനും വായിച്ചാൽ മനസ്സിലാവില്ലെങ്കിൽ, then my language is not plain enough. You may have to make it simpler, easier to understand. And then they should be able to use what we have given them. നമ്മൾ ഒരുപാട് കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറഞ്ഞു ഒരു മനുഷ്യന് ഒരു ഉപകാരമില്ലെങ്കിൽ, then what I have spoken or what I have written is all an exercise in futility. നേരത്തെ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ it is a futile, it is not useful. And what are the basic elements of plain language? So the plain language, it should be simple. It should be written in active voice. It will be presented fortnightly എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിന് പകരം നേരത്തെ നമ്മളൊരു എക്സാമ്പിൾ കണ്ടിരുന്നു. 1 second, I will show you that. See, ഇതൊരു passive voice sentence ആണ്. You can put it as active voice. Targets and achievements will be verified fortnightly. So use plain English. Plain English means simple language which everybody can easily follow. Avoid using long strings of nouns. Long strings of nouns എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ the production department quality assurance program components എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് is a long string of nouns. അതായത് ഇതിലുള്ള എല്ലാം, ഈ വാക്കുകളെല്ലാം തന്നെ noun-ആണ്. So instead of that, use different function words. The production department quality assurance program components എന്ന് പറയുന്നതിന് പകരം the components of the quality assurance program designed by the production department എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ it becomes more clarity. If you have a continuous string of nouns, it becomes very difficult to follow what you are trying to say. Be as specific as possible. Avoid vague expressions. Vague means unclear. So avoid vague expressions. Large percentage of students prefer studying late at night. Percentage that is what he is telling. You just can mention the percentage, a little over 80%. The reader is able to understand that what that large percentage is. Instead of leaving the reader guessing, oh, what could be that large percentage, you can mention the percentage, which is a part of a study. You can find out the percentage from the study. Read that research report. You will be able to find that percentage. So be as clear as possible, as specific as possible. Just don't just give sweeping statements. A sweeping statement, a large number of people believe that the government is doing nothing. Percentage, so that percentage should be mentioned. So it should be very specific. So that is also part of plain English. And unnecessary words can be avoided. So repetitions and redundancies means, redundancy means unnecessary additions is called a redundancy. So redundancy can be avoided. What is redundancy? Redundancy means unnecessary additions are called redundancies. So these things can be avoided when you are writing a report. For example, replica means an exact copy of something. Unique, something that is most special. Most unique എന്ന് പറയേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. ഫാക്ട് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തന്നെ എന്തെങ്കിലും വസ്തുത സത്യമായിട്ടുള്ളതാണ്. പിന്നെ ട്രൂ ഫാക്ട് എന്ന് പറയേണ്ട ആവശ്യം. സറൗണ്ടഡ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ തന്നെ 4 സൈഡിലും വരുന്നത് എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. പിന്നെ വീണ്ടും ഓൺ ഓൾ സൈഡ്സ് എന്ന് ആവശ്യമില്ല. Visibility is a quality of the eye. So is there something that is visible to the ear? Is there something that is visible to the nose? No. So visibility is a quality of the ear. So there is no need to mention that visible to the eye. So there are people who say that the Great Wall of China is visible to the eye from a long distance. Is visible from a long distance. In the month of May, this is something which we discussed earlier also. Everybody knows that the May, the June, December, etc. are the names of months. So there is no need to additionally add the month of. So there are many such redundant expressions that we use. For one example, an interesting example is past experience. Past experience, all experience are related to the past. Can you have a future experience? Future experience? No. So all experience that we have is necessarily of the past. So there is no need to mention past. So such unnecessary words, if we can avoid such unnecessary words, our reports can be as neat and easy as possible. Okay, that is it. So that will bring us to the end of this module, that is the third module. We will have a test paper based on this module on Wednesday. Okay, on Wednesday, the 16th June, we'll have a test paper. And that will be on the Google Classroom. It will not be a live test paper. It will be, you can do it at your own convenience. It will be open from the morning to night. It's just about 20 questions, multiple choice questions. Google Classroom answer ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. അന്നത്തെ ദിവസം അത് ഓപ്പൺ ആവും. Wednesday it will be open. You can finish it in 10-20 minutes maximum. That is all that is required, because it is just a multiple choice question. And I am keeping a long window of 1 day because some people may have network issues. So you can log in at your convenience on that day and finish the work. I'll also post an assignment for you because we haven't done any assignment. So assignment will be based on any one of the 3 modules. The test paper is based on the third module. Okay, so test paper is based on the third module, which includes the core text I am a cat. So the test paper will be held on Wednesday, and the assignment will be for Friday. Okay, so assignment will be based on any of the three modules. So that will also be posted in the Google Classroom. So I think that's all I have to say. If you have any doubts regarding these things, you can ask. Any questions? Is it clear? Is it okay? Okay, so thank you. That's all for today. We will take up the next module, that is module 4, the last module, in the next class. We will conclude the session for today. Thank you for joining. Have a nice afternoon. Goodbye.